I'm totally going to start off with talking about this ASMR stuff, and then we'll go into the intro.
Right. We're going to tell everybody for the first 10 minutes, enjoy some relaxing ASMR.
Are you recording?
Yeah, it's we're 20 seconds in now. Probably will make the intro.
The playing with the mic thing is entertaining to me. It's like we were just talking about the videos. So you've seen the TikTok videos. We're gonna call them a beta that goes into the cemetery.
It's a good PC way of it.
And he's got a microphone, like a $high microphone, and he whispers.
Gosh.
And just the whisper itself creeps me out. I don't know.
Yeah, especially if you have headphones on or earbuds or whatever, you're like kind of like, is he behind me? Like,
What?
oh,
Why are you whispering in the cemetery? And then he goes over there to the stone. He's like, well, this is for Mrs. Manelda or whatever.
Oh, there's a cemetery ASMR?
Oh yeah. And like these sounds are for you, and he's tapping his nails on the stone. You're like, stop it. No, I'll go, this is beautiful stone, and then he's tapping on it. Get your hands off of it.
Oh man, just imagine being in a cemetery and you're out there, digging to set a stone, foundation or whatever, and you look over and some dude's like whispering a mic and tapping on the stone. Like, do you approach that person? Are you okay? Like,
no, you don't approach them. They're going to have a conversation with you. I don't want to have conversations with people anyway.
Would he whisper through the whole conversation?
I bet he thinks that you can't talk in the cemetery. And you're fixing to start up the motor on your setting trailer. I hope it's running lean. It's running really rich in the back part. Here's some ASMR for you.
Right. I'll give you some more ASMR, especially like whenever I accidentally, slip with a setting bar and hit my finger or something like that. Yeah, that is the quickest. That is the quickest way to get a sweet little old lady to appear out of thin air. Is you with, whether you're trying to hold it in or you actually project it out and you let that F word fly.
Oh,
pop! Right there, she is.
One. We were installing the 40 Days for Life monument behind at the 40 Day for Life headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Bryan, and we dropped a huge wall. Just accidents happen. Nobody got hurt, thank God.
Oh, was that the one that Jonathan was with you on?
Nearly killed Jonathan Benson. Yes. Yep. And I was swearing like a sailor. And they walk out there, and I said, "I'm sorry." It's okay. They're Catholic, so they understand.
Right. Yeah.
Well, all right. So all that to say, welcome back to the podcast, the We Rock podcast. I'm Tony Watson with Austin Cassey, and we're on episode 14.
14.
We took a little over a month hiatus, but it mostly had to do with Thanksgiving and Veterans Day and everybody trying to get stuff out. And, you had to go see family, and I don't know how your Thanksgiving was. We hadn't really talked.
Yeah.
So
no, it was a good Thanksgiving. How about yours?
Oh, it was pretty good. I mean, we nothing over the top crazy. We just, I don't think anybody shot anybody. So that was a plus.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and really because it was like just my parents and my sister's family, and then we went over to my in-laws' house, and it was her sisters and their families. There wasn't like any extended beyond that kind of family, so we didn't have anything insane to talk about.
Yeah, that's how my family is as well. We don't do a lot of traveling. We don't go see, second and third cousins. We just go to my parents' house, and my sister and her family come over, and we call it good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so
you get to say hi, and then they leave.
Exactly. And that's the way to do it. Just, hey, glad you got to see me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
let's all catch up on some of the awkward conversation. Like, How you been?
I don't care. My favorite is, well, how's work?
All the time.
Look, we obviously love what we do because we wouldn't be doing a podcast about it.
That's correct.
And we talk about it all the other times, but I do find that there are certain times whenever I just want to turn it off and not necessarily talk about it. And especially whenever it's one thing to talk about it with a colleague that understands.
Oh, correct.
It's another thing to talk about it whenever I've got to like go into detail and explain every minutia of whatever it is. And that becomes a problem.
Yeah. No, that whole conversation of, how's work? Selling headstones. That's what I've been doing.
I decided a long time ago, it's especially whenever you tell people what you do. And of course they've got to tell you people must be dying to do business with you and all that.
I've never heard that one before. Never heard it before.
So I decided to start saying to everybody, it's a dead end job and they would maybe leave me alone. And it tends to work.
Right.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but no, we did. So we didn't get everything out for for Veterans Day or Thanksgiving.
You did or didn't?
Did not.
Okay. I'm not the only one then.
Those actually I will say that those are not on us because those actually fall on the customers for not approving things and signing off on stuff. But
we had a couple of those, but leading right in the lead up, or what would have been our big push to get everything set before Thanksgiving that we need to get set. I say thankfully because I'm never going to cuss or rain, but it started raining, and of course that throws our schedule off. And
that's got to be a conundrum for a farmer.
Oh, it is.
A farmer turned monument guy. You want the rain, but you don't want the rain.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like they say, what's the purest definition of mixed feelings? It's watching your mother-in-law drive your brand new Cadillac off of a cliff.
Well, I mean, teach their own. You got to find a cliff first. We're in Texas.
Right. We have some hills. We have some hills with gentle slopes.
The other problem with that is that would mean that you rode in the Cadillac with her to the cliff. So
true. Well, it's on her then.
That one falls on you at that point.
No, it's on her. She's the one that drove it off the cliff.
So I will say this: so we're coming into December, and we've actually had we went through massive drought forever, and now we're finally getting rain. And it's hit or miss, and we're getting what we in Texas call cold, which means the day starts off at 40.
Right.
And this is the type of weather where I have like the back seat of my truck has now become a closet because I've got 5 different jackets or sweaters back there because you've layered and taken off and layered and taken off.
I honestly thought I was the only one.
Oh no, it's obnoxious.
Oh yeah, anytime anybody wants to get in the back seat of my truck, it's like, hang on a sec, I've got to consolidate everything over to the other corner.
Right. But the one that I've got, I'll have to say is at least we're not this. This came to me from one of our listeners, a good friend of mine, Dan Giroux, and I'm assuming he did this the other day. But how do you feel about that? He just installed this and sent me the picture. Because I'm having a visual conversation with Austin and he can see what I'm showing him. What I'm showing him is a picture of a very gray. I'm gonna guess a 2x6x2. It may be a 2.6x2.6 or 2.6x6x2.6, something like that. Anyways, Dan Giroux, in upstate New York, installed a monument in the snow. To which I either say one of two things. Either you're mentally off, the money must have been really good, or you're in a desperate situation.
Oh man!
So
I've set a headstone in the rain before, but I've never set one in snow.
No, I've never sat in the snow. Ever. Like, no.
Which, of course, we're from Texas, so look, the minute that there is any sort of substantial precipitation, especially snow, this state shuts down. You don't want to be on the road with everybody else.
No. No, we don't have the infrastructure for that. What is the salt truck? We don't. Who keeps that much salt around?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Is I want to take my $100,000 plus setting truck out on the road, so I can have these people in their '86 Hondas, wanting to play bumper cars with it. I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to take my regular pickup out on the road and do that. They're gonna scratch it. So
yeah.
Yeah, there's
I got to tip my cap to him though.
Yeah, that's a different breed of folks, and I'm sure we get some of that whenever it comes to summer. But I'd much rather deal with the heat than I will the cold.
That's what we need to do. Is we need to work out like a our own little reality show. Program. Yeah, an exchange program. Kind of like wife swap, but we ain't swapping the wives. It's going to be like a monument builder swap. You're going to have some guy from the north come down to Texas. Shop swap. There you go. Come down to Texas and set in August.
Okay. But can I go up there and work in January? Because I know, I think as of now, Paul DiMatteo is shut down for the winter.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
They shut down. They do shut down now.
Yeah, they're going to get the bad end of the deal coming down here to us.
I bet we could talk Nathan Lang into that up in Minnesota. I just don't want to go up there because I know he's not going to stop. That guy, no, I know he's not going to stop. There's not a question in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if it was me going up there, it would look like sponsored by Carhartt.
Yeah, yes. Lang is the same guy who lived in a barn while he was building his house.
Okay.
And the barn did not have indoor plumbing. He had an outhouse or a porta-can.
Wow.
Through winter. So he's a tougher man than me.
Yep. Yeah, I'll go ahead and concede right now.
That's not. You're not going to see me do that. Forget that, John. So, but no. So we've got there's some stuff coming up. Right? We've got
correct.
For those of y'all who are tuning in, maybe y'all are tuning in. We're going to try and get this up in time, but who knows?
Yeah.
What was it? The North. Which one was it?
We have.
This is me flipping through the MB News.
Yeah, December 7th through 8th, which December 7th is tomorrow. We have the Northwest Monument Builders Convention in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Let's see what the weather looks like in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Just because now, since this is Cloud, Minnesota weather forecast. Oh, it's not too bad. 35's the low tomorrow. 46 the high. 20. Yeah, I mean, it's not even showing snow. I don't know that there's not snow on the ground, but that's tolerable. That's tolerable.
Yeah.
So
I can live with that.
If you're going, do me a favor. Say hi to Don Calhoun. It looks like he's the one heading everything up, and go harass him for a little bit because he didn't have anything else to do. So. But no, those are great folks up there. If you're going to that convention, they'll have they have some they call it a hot dish, which sound the best thing I can describe it is tater tot casserole.
Okay.
That's one of the things that everybody tells you to eat when you go up there. But
I always associate the North with hot tea and cold biscuits. Restaurants I've been into before. You go to order a tea. A lot of times they associate it with hot tea. not the good old iced sweet tea that we know.
You know, I will say that I've stopped drinking sweet tea. It's just unsweet tea.
I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Well, it depends. It depends upon the restaurant, because some of them, it is pure sugar water. Like if you're not a diabetic, you're going to be close to it by the end of the 20th ounce.
Yeah, I used to live on that stuff. I was also 280 pounds. It's not anymore.
Right.
But no, so that show's coming up. I know that the
MBNA.
MBU.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the MBU Education Convention.
Mm-hmm. Yep, is coming up in San Diego.
Isn't there a translation for that?
Yeah, it's a Wales. It'll come to me.
Yeah, we'll get it later.
No, I don't know. Yeah, okay, we'll look that up. So, also known as Tijuana, right? Yeah. So now so that convention's coming up. That'll be, if you're out that way or interested. I don't really know what the speakers are. I'm sure they're listed somewhere. I could dig through there. I'm not going to.
Right.
But there's actually a personal invitation in your MB News from El Presidente.
El Jefe himself.
That's it. And a picture of him.
Mm-hmm. It's a good picture of him.
You know, yes, but have you ever actually seen him in a suit?
At conventions?
No, you have not. Don't lie to me.
He wears a suit jacket. If he's speaking, he'll put on a suit jacket.
I'll take your word for it. So, but no, so that's coming up. Of course, I bring all this up because I think for us, the important thing is Southern Monument Builders Convention's coming up in June. Mm-hmm. And what better time to start planning for that than December?
Perfect.
Hey, look.
We do have
If I go into Hobby Lobby in July and I see Christmas stuff up there in July, I think it's only appropriate that I start talking about the Southern Monument Builders Convention in December.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one. It's going to be in Fort Worth, right? Is that right?
Fort Worth or Grapevine?
We're gonna call it Fort Worth because for anybody else, truthfully, even for myself who grew up in Southeast Texas, it's all the same. You go to Fort Worth, you're not going to be far off. So I didn't know what Grapevine was until I was probably 21. Mm-hmm. So go to Fort Worth. It's not far from the stockyards. It's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. You get to come hang out with us.
Yeah. We'll probably do another live show there if we're still doing this. You probably wondered if we were still doing this after not doing it for a month anyway.
Well, I mean.
All right. So what I want to talk about, and we got two things we're going to talk about. One, I want to talk about this, a couple of tips and tricks, but let's save that for the end. See how much time we have left if we're interested. But I put on the Facebook page a question.
On the Monument Builders page.
On the Monument Builders page. A question, and it was a poll. The poll was, I'm scrolling. I should have prepped.
Oh, here you go.
I didn't prep.
Your poll said, what do you use to keep your office safe from potential threats or mentally unstable guests?
Yes. And you and I have talked. We know what each other's is. And if you feel comfortable sharing it.
Oh, I'm perfectly comfortable. My go-to.
I knew that was the answer, but
you're being polite. You're being polite.
Correct.
Yes. Now, my go-to is a firearm, hands down. And of course, it is an option of absolute last resort. That it's something that you do not even think of touching unless there is an imminent threat that there's no possible way of avoiding it whatsoever.
Yes, and phone's ringing. And ours is the same. Now, I will say within that poll, there was something messed up on it, and it lost two of the links. One was the firearms, and I see
that Roger A. Holt added a new one.
I did see that. It was good.
Oh gosh.
Thank you, Roger.
It's a good one.
But so, and so this is a little, the poll as of now is a little bit skewed because firearms and security cameras were way out front for the longest until they got removed, and then we put them back. The third has been a ferocious dog or cat with sharp teeth and all that. So there's kind of a list of things on here that's rather interesting. Pepper spray, silent alarm or panic button, a remote magnetic locks for the doors, a tear gas, which I'm assuming is a joke, or a flashlight and bear taser. I think Grant is actually in, where's he out of? I think he's in some kind of bear country, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure. But, it's in Michigan. They have bears there, don't they? I don't know.
For argument's sake, we'll say yes.
We'll say yes. So, but yeah, I mean, so there's some other little things on there. I really kind of wanted to go over this because, and I can go over, I don't want to spend the whole time going over what happened, because I kind of discussed it a little bit in comments and gave a brief overview. But long story short, we had a gentleman come in a few weeks ago who we know is a veteran because we've seen his DD-214, right? His claim was that he was he'd left the VA hospital in Temple, which is an hour and a half from here, 2 hours, something like that. And he was given a diagnosis of terminal cancer, and only with a few months to live. Super sad deal, and he was super emotional that first day he was here. But he was louder than anybody I've ever seen before. So Janine actually was out on the front porch with him. And the entire time that she was doing this, I was on the cameras monitoring. We do have cameras. So I was monitoring just because it was a little suspect. When she came in a couple times or whatever, got a tissue, and I would check with her, make sure she was okay. But I just stayed there where I could make sure and monitor the situation. Now, we had, I don't know, a few days later, week later, something like that. He comes back in and says, because what we had done was he wanted a monument. We said, look, he didn't have any next of kin, didn't have any money. We said, no, look, don't worry about buying a monument. Fill out the VA forms for a monument and put them with their will or whatever, and let the VA take care of all that, right? And we'll install it. We install those at no charge anyway. That's our thank you to our servicemen and women.
Same here.
Just something we do. And anyways, so he left. We filled out the paperwork as much as we could and sent him on his way and gave him copies of everything. He came back. I think he spilt coffee on his paperwork or something to that effect, right? So he came back and he was pretty upset that day and as well. Came in last week. And when he came in, I was gone, but I got a notification that he was here, and so I saw him on my phone, and I checked with Janine. She said, no, he was night and day different. It was not questionable, nothing worried about. But then Monday, he comes in, and I had a customer that I was talking to. He drove up from behind the shop, and if you've seen our shop, there's not, we just work out back. There's not a fence or anything like that. And he drove up and talked to the guys and said, asked if they had any food or if they had any money. And then they said no. He comes around front, comes inside, and comes up to Janine and asks if she has any food. He doesn't. I don't need any money. I don't want any money, but do you have any food? She's got a couple of cheese sticks. He says, no. Well, do you have any money? So he talks to her for a minute, but I'm not paying attention to what's going on over there. I did wave to say hi or whatever, and but I'm with that family and we're talking, and you can tell he's agitated, and he leans over and says something to her, and you could tell that she was taken aback, and he leaves and slams the door as he leaves. And I stopped my conversation with this other family. Is everything okay? And she says, no, I've got to take care of this. And, da, 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 da. So she ends up calling the police. And what he ended up saying to her was that he says, well, Tony's over there, just talking about nothing about dogs and stuff like that. And he's not minding that I'm here and all this. I'm talking to another family. And what we were talking about was laser etching the family dog or this gentleman, his dog on the monument for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this, he's upset that I'm not minding him and paying attention to him. And he leaves. He says, I hate him. And tells Janine, he says, I don't hate you. I love you. You've helped me. Right. But leaves and slams the door, stumbles to his truck and gets in his truck, backs out, hits one of our display stones and leaves. So she ends up calling the police department, and police department shows up. I told him, look, I'm not interested in pressing charges. This guy's got a lot on his plate. It's not what I'm after.
Mm-hmm.
But he cannot come back here. So they can't trespass him unless they catch him here. So they can't issue him a trespass warning unless he's here when that happens.
Interesting.
So all that to say that that's kind of what sparked the conversation, because if he comes back, I don't know that he's going to come back any better, and we want to be prepared. So that preparation is, what do you do? What is it that's out there? And so in going through some of these answers that were on here, there's some talks about the dogs and stuff, and I have no problem with people having dogs. In fact, there's a lot of shops I've seen with dogs and cats. I know Perry Giles has some. I know that Julia up in Minnesota has them. The Schlitzbergers in Houston have them in their shop, and they're great. I mean, it works really well for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know that my issues are very simple. The first and foremost, as you know, my family has lost 2 dogs due to age this year. I'm not mentally in a place where I can jump back and start having another dog right away.
Right.
I also know that, there's a lot of care that goes into that. So it's not just having a dog, but somebody's, at least a dog anyway, you've got to, you're going to take it back to the house. It's going to stay the night at your house, and you got to feed it and board it whenever you go out. If everybody's gone, or if you're closed for Christmas or whatever, you got to, all that kind of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not ready for that. A cat. I'm not a cat person. Just not. Yes, you can leave food. They'll do whatever, but they're not going to attack somebody they come in. It's just not going to happen.
No, they're going to beat you out of the door.
Yeah. Yeah. However, the biggest assist they will have is if you die there at your shop and you're all by yourself, they will eat you after a few days. I'm not a cat person. I also run into the worries that, there are certain families that are afraid of dogs.
Yep.
Or allergic to dogs, or allergic to cats.
Yeah, having a dog is definitely a double-edged sword. It's either it's going to be a sense of comfort for some people, or it's going to make them feel uncomfortable. And me personally, I don't want to ever run the risk of somebody being uncomfortable in my store.
Yep. Which is why you hang your firearm on the front door.
Oh, we got Grandpappy's old shotgun, up on a couple nails on the wall,
But you have. I agree. I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable and worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also run the risk of, a dog can be docile, friendly, but there are instances of some dogs sometimes just snapping for no reason. And you don't want to have to deal with that, especially in your store whenever you're opening yourself up to quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, here's a good one for you. Are you? I don't know if you follow or if you're friends with Allison Raymer on Facebook.
I think I am.
So she's got a Doberman, and it is a pretty dog named Dante. And the biggest thing, the most entertaining thing to do when following Allison is to follow the exploits of Dante, who destroys literally everything she owns. Everything she owns. What did she talk the other day about it eating something, taking it outside and throwing it? Like, so, there's also that. Dogs are going to just tear stuff up if they get bored. They want to play. They need something to do. But I'm going to spend a lot. If I have a dog that's supposed to be an attack dog and I train it, what are the odds that that dog actually does something when the situation comes up?
If it's anything like,
and if you train it well enough that it's actually going to do something to attack, right, in the situation. What about whenever that guy comes in and he's so just distraught, he's banging on the table. Mama's gone. Mama's gone.
Oh Lord!
Like, I don't want to have that. It just took a complete turn for the worse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't. You're right. It's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what do you do?
You want to try to control as much as you can and try to get rid of as many unpredictable variables as you possibly can.
Yeah. There's some other ones that are interesting in here. The remote magnetic locks. If you're paying attention to the door and somebody's coming or whatever, and you can lock it before they get in, perfect. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Our office is you and I talked about this yesterday. My pier and beam, and the windows aren't right in front of. Like, you come up the steps, not in front of the windows, so you don't really have that chance to set those locks, and that becomes kind of an issue. So, look,
not unless you want to lock them in there with you.
Ooh. That sounds like welcome to the Thunderdome, sucker.
The lights go down, fog machines go on.
I'm gonna get my crazy on.
Yeah,
it's. I think if you're going to have the remote magnetic locks and you're going to lock them in there with you, then you've got to go to Roger Aholt's suggestion.
Yep.
Which is a can of, and we're going to make this so that my kids can listen to it, a can of Whoop Up.
Yep.
So, of course, Rick Elliott says tear gas when locked. So I would guess if that's the case, and maybe he typed it in wrong, but I would guess if that's the case, you have gone through training and endured some of the tear gas. I mean, like you're some, jarhead somewhere that's just had to go through it in basic.
Oh, Wes told me it sucks.
Well, I mean, so look, then you just need to find an exit, get out the door, and let him do it. And when he comes out, the victor, hand him a box of crayons.
No, but as far as like the options that people have put out there, of course, there's never going to be a one size fits all option.
There's not, but that's why I wanted to have this conversation, is because I wanted to talk about all the options, and I'm not belittling any of them.
No, not at all.
For you, then it works. But I think that the conversation should be had about how do you protect your staff.
Bingo.
Right? Because the other one is not just this extends beyond the office. The office is the big one because most of us are in the office all day long, right? What about your setting crew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I bring that up because we know firsthand, not firsthand, but we know that
we know somebody that has a direct experience.
Right.
Yes.
Ran into a situation in a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it wasn't anything at them or, directed towards him or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a risky situation.
Mm-hmm.
And man, you don't want to be on the raw end of that.
Right. Yeah. And just to give a little more context on that without like getting too graphic with it or anything, that they basically witnessed or was there right after whenever somebody chose to end their life. And, like you said, thankfully, none of that was directed at him, but you do hear of situations like that whenever people are in that wrong frame of mind, that they're not thinking clearly, obviously. And if there's somebody there, or do they not care about life at all at that standpoint? And then are you going to be a target before they turn on themselves?
Exactly. You need to know what you don't know what their intentions are. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's to be prepared for the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to step up in this situation somehow. Step up and defend yourself, or step up and get away, but protect. You need to make sure that your staff is prepared for whatever happens. And I know there was one comment on there that said they actually had the local PD come through and talk them through the availability of what can be done. And the statement was to make sure that you have another exit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a clear path. That's a great solution.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got and the girls here in my office do. They have I'm the one that's landlocked, but I'm landlocked with a Glock. So
I like the rhyme.
Yeah. We're going to see who wins this one. But the girls have an easy exit out the back, which is great. While you and I talk firearms, we don't know the other states that are in. We said this a second ago, but some of the other places, if you're a monument shop in California, you may not be able to protect yourself.
Right.
Or Oregon or Washington or, look, I would hear the don't take this to your attorney to ask what they think, because you know what they're going to say, but this is not legal advice. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness or deal with it than it is to ask for permission.
Mm-hmm. Or the statement of, better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Correct. I'd rather be on the that end of that.
Mm-hmm. And if you do choose that a firearm is what you believe is the best option for you, especially in the case of self-defense, just like you and I had talked the other day, I'm a Second Amendment absolutist. I believe everybody has the right to, as long as you have not forfeited that right. But I also do believe that there's a lot of people that have no business touching a gun whatsoever. And
100%.
If you do make that choice, of course, there is a big responsibility that comes along with that. And you have to put the work in yourself, whether it be going through some type of formal training or just really getting to familiarize yourself with that particular platform that you've purchased, that you need to know how to use it inside and out.
And I would say that, yes. So I have a CHL permit, which now as of last year or this past September, it is about as worthless as the plastic it's printed on.
Right. Well, you can still skip the line at the Capitol.
And I love that. Actually, I've used it.
Right. And whenever you fill out a Form 4473 to purchase a firearm, it's an immediate approval. There's no FBI, waiting for the NICS system to process it.
I walked out of the gun store about a month and a half ago with one, and I didn't have to wait another day. Purchased and walked out the door. But, I've already gone through all the background checks and everything like that, and I maintain it, and they, all that kind of stuff. So, but I would encourage anybody who's thinking about it, take a CHL course. You can take, you can reach out. I know, like for us in Brazos County here in Texas, constable's office, one of our local constables teaches gun safety. There is just about any one of your gun stores that has a range.
Definitely so.
Will teach gun safety at the range. Not just about, I would guarantee you every one of them is going to teach gun safety, because if you're going in there and you've never shot a gun before, you will have an instructor that shows you how to shoot. If even the regular gun stores are going to have somebody they can get you in touch with them.
Without a doubt. And I will say, for some of the other options, especially like pepper spray is really good if you are uncomfortable carrying a firearm, it is something that is effective. But have you ever been inside of the same room that somebody was just playing around with one and discharged it?
Better hold your breath when you pull that thing.
It feels like a wasp crawls down your throat. Yep. It sucks. So just know that using that, you're probably going to feel some of the effects of that as well.
Yep. And one of the other ones that's a good one is, and you sent me the link to it, but I'd already known about these things. I just didn't know the brand.
The Byrna.
The non-lethal pistols.
Mm-hmm. They shoot pepper balls.
CO2, is that right? Are they CO2 bullets?
Yep. It's CO2 charged, and it fires what looks like a paintball, but has a powdered type of pepper spray in it. So upon impact, it fogs up, and of course, you ingest it. It's on your skin. And they also do have kinetic rounds, which are just basically hard plastic, and they shoot them hard enough that you can bust out a glass on an automobile.
Yeah, and so stuff like that's good. I'm not knocking any of the other options on there either. Look, if you've got a bear spray or a taser or whatever is going to keep you and your staff safe,
a bow staff.
Yeah. Look, I tell you what, you really want to get somebody to run off. You reach down and you pull out a giant Bowie knife, or even better, you stand up on your desk and you pull out your compound bow.
You better be good with that first shot. Your follow-up's going to be a little slow.
Yeah, but I think if I walked into a place and I was ready to do some damage and somebody stood up on a desk with a compound bow, I think I would decide, nope, they're crazier than I am. Just, one of the other bets you could do is keep 2 full beers on your desk at all times, unopened. And then whenever that guy starts acting crazy, you grab those 2 beers, smash them together, make a spray, and you go, let's go. Stone Cold's been waiting for this.
Oh, man.
But, I hope nobody ever has to run into the situation.
Correct. Yeah, the possibility, even just outside of our business, but just in life in general, the possibilities that you are going to be involved in some type of use of force incident are thankfully incredibly low. Not unless you're just somebody that just lives in a high risk position 24/7.
Correct.
But definitely, especially since we're talking about in our business, and one of the most paramount things in business is safety. And that's from an OSHA standpoint all the way down to just personal safety of the people that you are responsible for. And just, technically we're all supposed to be having safety meetings anyways. I mean, I'm good on that.
I'm absolutely. Hey,
Scouts Honor.
Craig Hall. I had my safety meeting this morning and then again this afternoon. We'll do it 3 times tomorrow just to be safe.
Well, shoot, just as we're sitting here talking, a news story just popped up. University of Las Vegas, there is a shooting.
And that's and it's tough. I mean, we've had them around here and things, but God, I hate them. But I don't want to be. I don't want to be on the receiving end and not be equally matched.
Well, I don't want to be equally matched. I want to be overmatched.
Right. I don't want to be undermatched.
Correct.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean.
I want to be better.
But, yeah. I want to be the bestest. Let me be the bestest.
Right.
But, I think when it comes to the camera systems, I've got 2 different systems running on my office. And I don't know what you run. I have a Swan system that's a hardwired camera system that can be remote accessed through a computer app that allows me to see what's going on. And I've got 6 different cameras on that one. And I can actually add, I don't know, probably 10 more to it if I wanted. So I've got that system running for us. That one works pretty well. I run the same one at my home. But I also have Ring cameras set up, which are pretty good. I've got one on the front door or whatever, so I can see it. It just alerts me to what's going on, right? Faster than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there's the hardwired one that will always record. And then there's the one that runs on the hardwired one is a direct connect to the internet. The other one is a Wi-Fi base and sends a signal out, all that kind of stuff. So I'd like to have both because it's just a matter of the other one will record continuously. The other one records to the cloud. So if there's no internet, there's no recording cameras. Hardwired one's going to record no matter what. It's just the internet access is for me to access it. So
there you go.
I like having them both. I like the fail-safe. That's kind of where I am. Overkill, maybe. I have but like the Ring stuff started because I've got a Ring camera at the house for my doorbell and one for the driveway. But that's so that I could see when somebody showed up and got alerted to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other cameras are because I want to know if you step foot on my property.
Exactly.
But I think there's plenty of other systems. I know that I've heard a lot of people talk about Arlo, Nest. There's another brand called Eufy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nest is Google. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are so many out there that you can choose from. But I think it's probably a good idea for you to, for everybody to kind of take evaluation of what it is, have that conversation, have safety talks with people. What's an exit plan?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the idea. I think Bill Boone had it right. Call your local PD, sheriff's office, or whoever, have them come out and talk you through good plans to keep your staff safe and whatnot.
Definitely so.
Just it's a good conversation to have, and I hate that we had to. Fortunately, we haven't had to physically do something to somebody, but it's
it's especially whenever the business we're in, we are dealing with emotional people.
Yep.
It's just an absolute of what we do.
Yeah. So have those conversations, and I know that's a Debbie Downer kind of conversation, but I'd rather everybody have thought about it a little bit. So, but one of the other things I wanted to talk about, and you and I have kind of been back and forth about this a little bit. How long ago was that stupid post? I say stupid post because I just don't know where it is. It was a ways back. Let me see. You all scroll down, see, and I know I saw this both in Monument Builders and Monument Builders Forum. Not the flickering lights. That the flickering lights is telling you that you need to do turn your letters better because it doesn't say flickering.
Oh,
it says something.
The duckering lights.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, I'll find it here in a minute. But what I'm wanting to talk about was this post that this guy took, and I hate that I didn't have it already prepped. But the post was about how another way to take care of and knock a panel back.
Oh, yep. I can find
when
that.
you had when you wanted to knock, you've got letters already engraved into it. So you're trying to remove the letters off an old stone or whatever and knock it back. Maybe it's a display piece that's been sitting out there forever or a mistake, and you're just trying to clean it up, reuse it or something to that effect. This gentleman had posted using
James Burke.
hot glue. James Burke.
Uh-huh.
And in doing so, he took. I wish I'd have asked him before we started doing this. I don't know if it has to specifically be Gorilla Glue hot glue or just hot glue. I can understand how hot glue would work though, because it kind of acts like a rubbery surface if you put it in thick enough. So
According to his post, it was just hot glue.
Okay, so you stick the hot glue into the letters, into your VSonic letters, mask off the rest of your panel, and then you can put it in the sandblast booth like normal and blow that area back. Now, you do have some cleanup work after the fact, because there's what the letters protected is going to be protected, and you can either do that with a cutoff wheel, or you can probably do that with. He used a bushing hammer with like a 9-point or something like that to get that knocked down. And then I would assume that you would take that thin again and just frost it again, because you're going to have a different
Correct.
tone from your bushing hammer to what's been sandblasted. So, man, that was a great little tidbit. But you and I talked about it, and you had another little caveat to it.
Yes.
And this his is phenomenal. I had no idea that would work. And then you said, well, there's a different solution that you use.
Yeah, what I use whenever I've had to knock a panel back in the past is a substance.
Why did you mess up in the first place?
Thankfully it was not me. Somebody wanted somebody removed from a headstone. One of those. There's a falling out in the family, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
But I use a material called Rockite. It's ROCKITE. It's labeled as a type of cement, but we've also used it for like whenever you want to attach like a bronze VA to the back of an upright. Works really well. Whenever you core out your holes or drill out your holes, set the alt threads into the Rockite, and it has a little bit of expansion to it, but nothing terrible that you'd worry about busting granite out. But it holds VA bronzes up really well. But for blowing back a panel, I'll just fill the lettering, engraving, whatever, with Rockite and give it a day or so to dry, and then put it in my sandblaster, and the Rockite sandblasts down at the same rate that the granite does. And so whenever it finally disappears, the panel's pretty much done.
See, and that's another great solution, right? Just filling it out. You've eliminated one step. However, I've wondered about, and you'll have to tell me, I would wonder about, does that stain the stone? Does the Rockite moisture or whatever wick into the stone and change color at all?
I have not witnessed any.
Okay. So another phenomenal solution to be able to knock a panel back. Because we all come up across that every once in a while. The need to be able to push the panel back to change the names or whatever the case is.
Well, it's just like they say, necessity is the mother of all of invention.
That's why I like to call what we do just a bunch of farmer engineering.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
So
It's just I got to figure out how to make this work, and this is what I have at my disposal. So, that was a great solution. Of course, we talk about discoloring, and I'm scrolling down trying to find that one, and I happen to come across another one, which is the same kind of situation you ran into, and it may have been before you ran into it. Hey, tell me how fond of Monumask you are.
I like Monumask.
Now, look, I'm not going to knock Monumask. No. I like Monumask too, but you for at least 24 hours were not too much of a fan.
Right. I was unaware that it would cause a color shift in the stone. And of course, if anybody saw my post on Monument Builders, you'll see that I have this nice 5-foot wide, all frosted surface dye. And it's a two-tone now, which of course we ended up rolling Monumask over the rest of it. And it's pretty consistent now. And I will say that we've had it sitting in the same spot because it's not going to go out till next week. But we've had it sitting in the same spot in the shop since, what was it, Monday or Tuesday, it was last week whenever I did that. And the color has lightened up on its own.
Okay.
And
that's good. I do know that when EGA redid their EGA museum sign, and this is way back when, they rolled the whole thing with Monumask, and that's a rough surface, right? But they had to relitho all those letters. And I asked them, why did you do that? And they actually had mentioned back then that it will stain a little bit. And stain a little bit's a tough way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep in mind that material is latex, and latex has a little bit of oil to it. And so that will start to weep into stones a touch. If that's a scenario that I like Monumask in that situation where you're trying to do it and you want to do a whole panel. It's easy to keep on hand, easy to clean up. So it is a phenomenal solution. Another one that we like that we use depending upon the stone. So like if we're doing it we have to do it on limestone every once in a while for us for different university projects, is molasses. Problem with molasses is it's a lot of cleanup.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of cleanup. Little messy.
Yep.
Smells great.
So, and then phenomenal. You do it. The best time to do the molasses trick is in the summer. And it smells like cookies.
Right. Either that or do it early in the morning. It's like breakfast. Real quick to go back on the issue I ran into with Monumask, I did see that James Brenner, which he's the one that is responsible for Monumask.
Yes.
He did post that he said that he has had it happen before to him, and he uses liquid ivory soap. He says that helps clean it up.
Okay. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that the one thing I suggested to you was to use what we call Fast Mask. I don't know if there may be a product physically called Fast Mask. That's just not that's what we call Fast Mask is a mixture of plaster of Paris and white gas.
Yep.
So we keep both here at the shop. You mix it to kind of the consistency of what is it? Marshmallow whip.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that what it's called? The marshmallow. I hate marshmallows, so I don't buy the stuff at Cream. That was what I've heard to mix it. Anyways, you put that stuff on the affected surface like a paste. I've used it on brick pavers and things like that. Whenever, like if you've had hydraulic fluid leak on something, it's a great way to pull that out. And just let it dry. You can walk away from it. What's great about it is you walk away, and next day when it dries up, you actually come out with a blower and blow all the plaster away, and because the white gas is evaporated. But what you're doing is you're getting that white gas to basically dive into your material, and as it dries, as well as the plaster of Paris, it's sucking that oil or that stain or whatever's in it up into that plaster. And it works pretty well. You may have to do one or two different tries, but we use it pretty regularly for those kind of situations where you end up with a stain.
And if you don't want to mix it yourself, or you're worried about getting the consistency right, I do know that Miles Supply does carry basically a pre-mixed canister of, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it does the same thing.
Yeah.
And I know that they have several formulations of it. One of them's good for oil. One of them's good for board stains.
Yeah. I don't know if Elephant Snot does the same thing. I know Elephant Snot's typically used for removing graffiti from a stone.
Correct.
But I don't know if you could use it for the same kind of thing. It seems expensive to use in that scenario, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and sometimes I don't know if you're desperate, you'll try anything.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, I've looked at the healing crystals on Amazon. You know, you name it.
You're getting into essential oils, seeing if you can fix it.
Yeah, we burn some sage.
You're doing dances outside around the stone. Maybe this will get it out.
Yeah.
No, I think all these products are great, and I still think we use the Monumask here as well. I just think it's something you should be aware of.
Correct.
With the potential for it to stain, not that it will stain, and that's it is dire important for you to be prepared for that when you're trying to use it in a scenario. And just know that like what you found out is if it does, just roll the whole thing with it, or use the fast mask to get it out. There's ways to fix it. Yeah.
Yes.
What's great about stone is in most cases, there's ways to fix it. You may not like the way that it takes to fix it, but you can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes fixing it means buying a new one.
Right. Yeah. There's not enough salt and pepper sometimes to make those taste good when you got to eat them.
No.
Which I mean, I've never done that.
I've got one right now that, let's see, man, this was not a cheap stone. I think I sold the stone for $15,000, and the guys.
Isn't that what you do a 2x1 for?
Yeah. It was man, I don't know if you said the 2x1 gray, steeled with the roll pencil edge.
Okay.
15,000.
I mean,
this was a large all polish piece of Masabi.
Okay.
From Cold Spring, and not on Cold Spring's fault. It was ours. Guys went out and installed it. Two things actually went wrong with this monument. First was they used a clamp and just didn't think through, and they clamped on top of the picture and cracked the picture.
Oh, no.
But
yeah,
my guess is that because it cracked when they tried to pick it up and it slid a little bit, and it caused the corner of the stone to ting. And I mean, it is the smallest chip in a stone ever, and the customer flipped out. There was no polishing it, and there was no fixing it, so we just had to reorder it.
Mm-hmm.
And we reordered the stone. So I've actually got the old stone. I'm gonna send it to Georgia to be resurfaced, and I'm gonna do something different with it. And I've already paid for the material. May as well put more money into it and see if I can make something out of it.
So now it's going to be a $20,000 stone.
Absolutely. So, I mean, at least that way we can see if we can make some money off of it somehow, instead of just being trash back in the back. But, what do? You got to do something.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
All right, well, what else is coming up?
Oh, what else is coming up? Christmas. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you and I kind of talked. We're going to try and maybe do one more.
Yeah, right? One more. We'll do our Christmas episode.
Yeah. Are you going to wear a hat?
I can.
Not like the hat you're wearing now.
Oh, this amazing World's 2023 World Series Champions hat.
It looks stupid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I don't want to lie. I would. Who would I be? I'd be remiss if I didn't let you know that before you went out wearing
it. Well, for your information, I've received a lot of compliments on this hat.
Yeah. Hey, you know what my favorite part about that World Series parade was?
What?
The people touting how the 100,000 people that showed up or whatever it was to the parade. Look at the number of people who showed up to our parade.
They said it was like closer to 600,000.
And it was like close to 2 million showed up to the Astros.
Yeah, but that's in the middle of Houston.
What's your point?
There is a difference.
Okay. Is that because nobody knows where Dallas is?
Oh. You had to go and, yeah.
Yeah. You know what Houston means?
What?
Houston. Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. You know,
also known as the
how many
spur.
songs did George sing about Dallas?
Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of Dallas myself, so
I do know there's the song that How I Wish Dallas Was in Tennessee, and I kind of concur.
I can get on board with that. Yeah, basically everything I like about the Metroplex stops at about Arlington.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, you got Fort Worth. Fort Worth's Cowtown.
I mean, as long as you're going from west to east, I can buy into your argument here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's what I meant to say.
And truthfully, I'm okay if you go from south to north and find a dividing line.
That can be done as well.
Like Mahia.
Yeah. That's funny. Somebody asked me to set a stone in Mahia.
I can't get on the Plano, Garland, Mesquite.
Oh, man. I was there? Frisco. Yeah. No, I was just in Frisco over the weekend. Like Frisco, Plano, all that.
Because you hate yourself?
Daughter had a cheer competition, which I love watching her do what she loves to do. She's really good at it, and she works her butt off for it. So that's great. But that's only 2.5 minutes of that entire thing. The rest of the time is watching thousands of little girls scream their heads off and some of the most god-awful music you've ever heard just blaring.
I think really what I hear you saying is we need to find a sponsor who sponsors some kind of hearing protection.
Oh, I brought my noise-canceling earbuds. Yeah, I took them out whenever she performed. The rest of the time, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When we flew back from Italy, I knew that if there was too much noise, I was not going to sleep, and I was already I was already going to be an issue. I had in my earbuds and my noise canceling earbuds, and over the top of that, I had my noise canceling headphones.
Does it just make more noise? Does it like somehow do the adverse effect?
Well, it either Simon and Garfunkel or Disturbed, pick your version of it, but I now know what the sound of silence is.
No, I need to make you like a playlist or something for your next airplane ride so it'll relax you. It'll be like nothing but an endless loop of Yoko Ono.
Ooh, just crash the plane. Crash it. No. Put Silver Wings on a loop instead. I'd be okay with that.
I can do that.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we'll get out of here until the next one. I'm sure we'll have the Christmas episode that talks about why we didn't get everything out in time for Christmas. I'm sure we'll. You know what? Let's see. Let me look at my calendar here. I don't know. Are you closing? How long are you closing for Christmas?
I'm looking at my calendar. Oh, we're in December. Yeah. Because Christmas is on. What day is Christmas on?
It's on a Monday.
Yeah, it's on a Monday this year. Oops, I went too far. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's on a Monday this year, so we'll be closed for the week of Christmas.
And Wes, whenever you listen to this later, just know that I'm closing for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, well, a week and a day we'll be closed, and then we'll show back up on the 2nd.
We are closing. Our office lunch is going to be on the 19th. Everybody will go home after lunch. It will be Mexican food. So if you want to show up, come on.
Okay.
We'll have fajitas. You got to drive down the 5 hours to get it.
Right.
And then, so we'll be closed on the 20th, and we'll reopen on the 3rd.
Dang.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
You're running that Elberton break.
That's it. I can't order any rock then anyway.
Well, yeah, but you can sell some rock.
Nah, nobody comes. I've experienced enough of it that nobody actually comes in during that period of time.
That is true, but it's also a good time to like really bear down and try to play some catch up.
Yeah, I found that my staff, obviously they're not going to say no, but it's good for everybody to get the chance to take a breath and see family and not be beholden to a schedule or whatever. Mm-hmm. What is this? And I want the break too.
Oh yeah.
So
unfortunately, we're in a business of there's an importance to the product we provide, but it's not an absolute necessity.
Right.
That is a pressing matter.
Yeah. And if our customers don't understand the importance of us having family time, then I don't know why they're buying monuments. So
very true.
But no, so we'll be closing. Maybe we can record on the 19th, and then everybody can be a part of the Christmas party.
There you go.
But you're not going to have you're just, sending everybody home. Like Scrooge McDuck over here is Cratchit. Don't put another coal on the fire.
I can only sit in the house for so long. I gotta work. Like
Who said I was staying in the house? Yeah. I'm gonna cause some trouble. I got a wet bar full of stuff I've got to clean off.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, on that note, I think we'll check out. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch y'all on the Merry Christmas side. If we don't catch you on the Merry Christmas side because we don't record, just know that episode got lost somewhere, and we'll talk about it later.
Right. It might have been an episode we were feeling a little too merry and bright.
Yeah. The bright is not a way that I would describe us. And I don't.
Slightly illuminated.
I mean that both in the volume of cheer and intellect. So
definitely.
All right. On that note, we'll sign out. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Enjoy y'all's week.
Have a good one.